Ladies and gentlemen, it is your General Greene here, May 4th, 2025. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We have a very major, important report. Donald Trump, the President of the United States, on May 4th, has now announced he'll be lowering tariffs on China. As I predicted, again, they weren't going to keep the tariffs up at 145%. They're not going to do that. That'd blow up the entire world economy, bring America to its knees in a 1929 Great Depression. It would be Mad Max. You would have Wall Street brokers throwing themselves outside of windows. Of course, we knew that was just a part of negotiation. It was fluff. Now, he actually said that earlier today. He also announced that the United States government's going to be going all in Bitcoin and crypto, fulfilling my long-standing multi-decade prediction, of course, teaching courses since 2008 and 09 at bitcoinrich.com, now founder, along with all my beautiful members of islandproject.com, that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin will be dethroning the worthless US fiat trash dollar, and you literally have hours to act. Because in the coming days, Donald Trump will officially announce the golden age crypto pump Bitcoin super cycle into tokenization, which has always been the goal, to reset the system into the new one. So please like and share, and let's hear from Donald Trump himself. First, he says, quote, "I want crypto. Crypto is important. I want crypto, because if we don't do it, China is going to." And then I'll comment. Let's listen to what the President of the United States has to say.
I want crypto. I want crypto. I think crypto is important because if we don't do it, China's going to. And
why is Donald Trump nearly 80?
I want crypto. I think crypto is important because if we don't do it, China's going to.
Okay, so Donald Trump is saying now, this is game theory, which I always told you, that eventually the United States government, whether or not they were lying or not, would be forced to buy cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, because if they don't do it, as Donald Trump is saying, then China will do it. So owning Bitcoin, I want you to think about this in terms of yourself, like getting into Island Project, clicking the link below, talking to my dad, is a literal matter of life and death, financially speaking. As we move forward into the reset, it is national security. It's the new nuclear atomic weapon. Owning Bitcoin and crypto and real assets while they're being tokenized, which we invented here at islandproject.com, literally is the reset and the future of money and technology, just like my book that I put out 10 years ago and my coursework. I was actually looking at a chart of Bitcoin. It was astonishing to see that if you just spent, as I had millions of people do, it's the largest course in the world at bitcoinrich.com, you spent $199 10 years ago. You took my course, watched maybe 15 minutes of one video, and you bought Bitcoin. You're literally a millionaire today in 2025. And during that entire 10 years, there's been a lot of volatility. Everybody's been saying that Bitcoin's going to go to zero. They said things like it was a scam or the US government was going to ban it. And now the President of the United States, as I predicted, is about to shock buy 1 million Bitcoin and send it to new record highs above 200K, I believe, in the coming week. I think we get a massive shock announcement from the President of the United States, Donald Trump, because if China does it first, we're in a lot of trouble. This is why Donald Trump has made such major epic moves into the crypto Bitcoin space. He's launched his own meme token worth billions of dollars. He's launched a new company called World Liberty Fi, which is a decentralized exchange, which will allow you to deposit, buy, and borrow against your cryptocurrency. In addition to that, he has all of his sons involved. In fact, Eric actually kind of sounds like me now. Have you noticed that? But everything I've been saying over multiple decades is now spoken of, which is awesome to see it all go mainstream. Because of course, when you're early, you have a lot of detractors. People, think it's, oh, wow, that's not going to happen. And then later, once it's being announced by Trump and America and every country worldwide, and now you've got Eric on stage saying that the banks are going to collapse and go to zero, like I've been saying literally for 20 years, like my entire life here on camera, then it starts to go mainstream. So this is huge news. In addition to that, Donald Trump also signaled and said with his exact words that he will be lowering the tariffs on China, which was my exact prediction several weeks ago. I said there's no way in heck he would be able to keep tariffs at 145%. that Apple Computers and other companies would simply move to another country like India, not bring the jobs back, but it was really just a matter of negotiation and the art of the deal. So versus me explaining that, I just want to go to Donald Trump actually saying that. And then more importantly, I mean, God bless the president. I think he's doing a really great job. I want to talk about how you can get in on the action. You know, I think a lot of Americans, not you, not my beautiful members, are bystanders. You know, they're kind of watching, but they're not participating. Like if you noticed, Elon Musk, he's not watching on the sidelines. He's getting super rich. He's getting super rich. He's literally establishing entire cities in Texas, Starbase, I think it's called. I mean, government contracts, massive taxpayer subsidies, huge involvement in the White House. And I want the same for you. I'm being serious. All of you tuning in need to be pivoting, leveraging, and profiting while they reset the system, collapse the dollar. And I think this is bigger and always has been bigger than Donald Trump. And of course, they move into the blockchain transition, which of course I predicted. So let's listen to Donald Trump specifically tell the American people earlier this morning that yes, he will be lowering tariffs on China, and that basically it was just a part of negotiation. So let's hear what he has to say.
You're not dropping the tariffs against China to get them to the negotiating table. Those tariffs are staying on.
Why would I do that?
Would you lower them?
At some point, I'm going to lower them because otherwise you could never do business with them.
Yeah.
Let's listen to that again. So he says he's going to lower the
You're not dropping
tariffs.
the tariffs against China to get them to the negotiating table. Those tariffs are staying on.
Why would I do that?
Would you lower them?
At some point, I'm going to lower them because otherwise you could never do business with them.
Okay, so Donald Trump now tells us he's lowering the tariffs, as of course I predicted that this was all a part of the negotiating tactics. Now look, Donald Trump's doing an incredible job. He's trolling the radical left. I mean, he has the whole radical left up in arms with his Pope posting. You know, he dressed himself. This is the official White House account, which I encourage you guys to follow because it really is hilarious. I mean, the White House, literally the most powerful man in the world, is memeing himself as the new Pope. And then today, which I thought was funny, he posts himself like as Luke Skywalker with a red lightsaber echoing a meme of Star Wars. And this comes from the White House. So I want you to understand that Donald Trump, I mean, I will give him this, truly is a genius in terms of managing public perception and controlling the narrative. He has the radical left eating out of the palm of his hand. He is, you know, completely negotiating with other countries like China, and he's going to get his way. But here's the point. Announced yesterday, Warren Buffett, the oracle of bailouts, who you know I'm not a big fan of, announced not only his shock retirement, but said something very specific about the US dollar. And I want to read this to you. Hopefully I can find it. Warren Buffett, and I'll paraphrase until I find this. Warren Buffett said it's time to actually start looking at owning other currencies. He said, I'm paraphrasing slightly, that the US dollar and central banks and the government keep devaluing the dollar. So here's the quote. He says, quote, it's a good idea now to own a lot of other currencies, quote, besides the US dollar. Now, of course, I've been saying that for 2 decades now. And you'll notice something. That number one, that advice has paid off. It's made my members rich. I want you to keep this in mind, that the millions of people that have subscribed to my earlier platform, the millions of people on AMTV, the billions of eyeballs that we've reached, all of my schools, BitcoinRichIslandProjectClub.com. That's why it's been so easy for Island Project. People made millions with Bitcoin, and then they're getting richer in Island Project. You see that? And that really is our goal here at AMTV, is I want you to pivot, leverage, and profit just like Elon Musk will be the world's first trillionaire. Again, don't be a bystander. So let's talk about what's going to happen next. The dollar is going to continue to bleed. It is absolutely going to be systematically engineered by design, destroyed in the coming days, weeks, and months. Stocks, I'm not bullish those at all, nor is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett has been selling basically all of his stock positions, and now I think he's golden parachuting out into the exit. Notice Berkshire Hathaway, for example, is trading at like an all-time high right as he departs. Charlie Munger's no longer with us. Warren Buffett is out. And I've got a fly or something flying by me. And now he's telling you, they're not hiding it, okay? They're telling you to get out of the dollar and run. This is why Warren Buffett, of course, is sitting on massive stockpiled amounts, get out of here, of fiat currency, which will be deployed by whoever's taking over, I don't know his name, at Berkshire. And they're going to be buying Bitcoin and they're going to be buying crypto. And the companies that they own, this is an important takeaway as well, are all stockpiling Bitcoin and crypto now. You see, the United States government, through its crypto czar, David Sachs, have established, get out of here, Satan, we rebuke you, have established a crypto fund as a part of not just national security, but literally World War III with China. So we are in a Sputnik moment, literally today, a space race with the accumulation of Bitcoin and crypto, and Americans' lives depend on it. I want you to think about when the Manhattan Project came along, right? When that was needed to win the war in World War II. Bitcoin is arguably as, and I would say more important than the Manhattan Project today. So this is massive news, huge development, and also just notice to always look at things unemotionally. Like if you look at Bitcoin, with all the tariffs, with everything that's been going on, the pandemonium, Donald Trump dressing up like the Pope days after, Francis passes, yada, 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 the memes, the internet culture, the media mayhem, everything that's been going on. At the end of the day, what's Bitcoin doing? Well, it's trading just under 100K. Even during the tariffs, recessions, and threats of port shutdowns in Long Beach and Los Angeles. And I do want to comment on that, and I spoke to it yesterday. I think a lot of you are misreading what's about to happen. I fully, 100% know that Donald Trump is about to insert the key and unlock the golden age that he promised. Case in point, everything you're hearing about the ports right now is a lie. We know we can't trust the mainstream media. We know they're always lying. And all the fear-mongering that the shelves are going to be empty, right? That we're no longer going to get shipments. That Donald Trump's going to keep the tariffs at a gazillion %. All lies, all a fraud. And I'm explaining exactly what he's going to do. And he just said it. God bless him, but he's just told us he's going to lower the tariffs on China. Otherwise, we can't do business with him, which is what I told you all along. Look, there's a certain element of theatrics and politicking that is necessary to move the masses to the natural direction that they want the American people to go. And that's all that's happening here. And I also want you to keep in mind, too, I'm the guy that predicted the lockdowns when we had true problems with logistics, when we had actual supply shortages, when there was actual panic and pandemonium. I mean, the entire United States was under equivalent martial law in 2020. I predicted that. And I told you that was going to happen. That's why I sold bug-out bags and food storage and water and gold, which is now breaking at a new all-time high. You're welcome. And all those supplies and storage and self-defenses and Bitcoin have proven to be the best investments in the world. But now I'm telling you that what they're saying now also isn't true. Honestly, Donald Trump has this under control. He has the rest of the world eating out of the palm of his hand, and he has radical leftist Democrats freaking out for a reason. And honestly, God bless him for that. But your takeaway from all of this, I was just speaking with another member, Harold, just came on board from the beautiful state of Alabama. Honor to speak with you, sir. He's in his 50s, just onboarded with 40 units, islandproject.com, and he asked me an important question I wanted to share with you. I spent about 40 minutes with him on the phone, as I, spend a lot of time, as my father does, with our members, because you mean a lot to us, and we're here to help. But he asked me a question. He said, Christopher, how much time do I have, to get ready, to buy more Bitcoin, to add to Island Project, to do all these things? And it was a great question. And I responded, not much time. I believe that within the coming weeks, I would give it, if I'm just throwing out kind of, my thoughts, I would say within 3 months, Bitcoin will be soaring above 200K. It's going to pull off a 2X. Altcoins will be pumping 10X. Certain picks at my school, which I've disclosed, like RSR, and by the way, I'm a whale, so I'm just telling you, obviously I own a lot of it. that could be trading 100x, 1,000x in that short period of time. And this whole process of this transition into the new system is happening right now. So many of you have asked me through the years, when does this reset come? I mean, when is your prediction finally going to be fulfilled? Now, just like I predicted the invasion of Ukraine, I predicted the lockdowns. For those who've been following me for over a decade, know I predicted the 2008-09 financial collapse. I warned all of my clients in 2008-09 at Merrill Lynch to exit the banks, to sell all their stocks, right when Bear Stearns started going under, and Jim Cramer told the entire world on CNBC to buy as much Bear Stearns as possible. I said the opposite. Now, look, what I'm saying in the moment sometimes isn't popular, but later on, like a decade later, everyone's like, oh yeah, well, that actually did happen, and that did pan out, just like Bitcoin. And I'm telling you, the same thing is going to happen with the collapse of the US dollar. The US dollar is done. Even if Donald Trump wanted to save the US dollar, he can't. Okay, there's a debt that can't be paid back. Previous politicians, the previous government have honestly created an unsustainable situation where he has no other option. Just like he's telling you, it's a matter of national security, because if he doesn't buy Bitcoin, if he doesn't shock buy, pump all of our bags and make us more rich, well, then China's going to do it. So this is the game theory unraveling right now. And I think Americans are far too complacent. They really don't realize that the hyperinflation now is above 20% annually. Everything that you try to buy now, food, water, they'll probably start selling clean air to us at some point in the future, which they basically do. To live in the nicest places in the world, I mean, you've got to be rich. Let's just be honest with ourselves. But everything, housing, rents, healthcare, clothing. I mean, I've got a lot of kids. I pay $5,000 a month just for health insurance, and then they bill me on top of everything. I mean, that's a lot of money, man. Like, obviously, I'm able to support that. All glory to God, but like, it's insane. Every day I look at just general expenses. I'm like, how are people not rich? Like, how are they doing this? I mean, I've never gotten a check from the government. I expect to get no Social Security. I've never received a subsidy. I turned down all the PPP loans, which I could have received millions of dollars in 2020 because of integrity. Because I would never take, especially if I don't need it. Honestly, if God's blessed me where I don't need that, then why, good people aren't going to abuse that system. The problem is a lot of people actually do. And we saw this in 2020. We saw the Wall Street criminals. We saw BlackRock. We saw all the elites. We even saw Hollywood stars worth tens of millions of dollars taking massive taxpayer paid for PPP loans because they couldn't perform a concert. I think I remember reading like Lil Wayne took like $10 million and just because he couldn't perform a concert, even though his net worth is above 100. You see where the problem is? And so Donald Trump is faced with a lot of, much of an uphill battle. And we're also going through a major population transition. There's about to be, millions of people which are in the process now of being deported out of the country. Donald Trump has also suggested that a lot of these deportations he wants basically sent into gulags, into the El Salvadorian prisons, which are, God bless Bukele, what he's doing, cleaning up El Salvador. And of course, he's been, epically buying Bitcoin now for years. Incredible. Max Kaiser's out there, friend in the Bitcoin space. Max is the earliest, I would say, in Bitcoin. I mean, he really is an OG, so hats off to him for that. And you're seeing all these predictions pan out. But my hope and prayer for you tuning in is just like Harold is taking aggressive action. I have another woman. She's onboarding from Austria, actually. I have a phone call scheduled with her in about 30 minutes. She's coming in with her 150 units. My hope and prayer is that you don't get left behind. I want you to participate in this economic, financial golden age revolution, just like Elon Musk is going to profit from this. You should be profiting too. Don't get left behind in the dust. Don't be reading about or hear me come on camera a week from now and tell you about how Bitcoin's trading at 250 or 300K. And it makes me sad, honestly, because I know most of you that follow me, most will be buying Bitcoin between like 150 and 250K. Not now at 95. You'll be getting in. I see it, and I've said this for years. I'll even see it in the algorithms of like my courses and stuff. Highest traffic at peaks, lowest traffic when you should be buying. So here's what I'm getting at. Now's the time to actually go all in. Now, I put out a newsletter for islandproject.com, and if you could help me out, let me know you actually received it. Just sent that out to all members. Some of the members said that their email provider scrambled some of the text. They couldn't really see it, so I sent a second email out in a PDF format and making some major announcements. So I'll just kind of illustrate that as well. So we're closing on our 6th property at Trump Tower in Waikiki, actually. Beautiful property, 28th floor, huge fireworks, sunsets every single night, right on the beach, best location in Waikiki. I honestly believe that we baked into the pie because we stole this acquisition. I mean, hats off to my dad. He's a wonderful negotiator, and so am I, quite frankly. But we probably have at least $1 million baked in just into the equity on the purchase. And I'll give you an example of this. The seller, which I provide more details in the newsletter. The seller bought the same unit 10 years ago for $1 million more than what the Island Project is paying for it. You see how we've been DCAing the property purchases over time? It's the same advice I've given at school regarding Bitcoin. Continuous purchases, adding up, leveling up. Just like the Island Project's gonna make you richer and richer over time. Just like I had people make millions of dollars at Bitcoin Rich going 1,000x on just $1,000. My pick, CRO, which used to be MCO, crypto.com, that's 1,000x pick. Made people millionaires. Do you know that Brave token, the BAT token, 1,000x at school, made people millionaires? Do you know IOTA in the earlier days, when I first recommended it, 1,000x made people millionaires? You know my pick, XRP, have you ever heard of it? Made people millionaires. So I'm also explaining to you like what's happened even in my own life. And I've seen with our own community growing and all the amazing success that God has provided, where we started from nothing, we got really successful at school and crypto. Now we're getting more successful at Island Project, and we keep growing into the future and getting stronger. And in my view, that's the whole point of life. Whether or not it's relationships or your faith or making money or just being an upbeat, high-spirited person, I think that that's actually the goal. I look around me sometimes and I see a lot of individuals, they seem so miserable. They seem stuck in a rut. They almost seem like zombies. And I'm going to be honest too and frank. I feel like a lot of the people that complied, in 2020 can no longer think for themselves. Have you noticed that? Like I kind of bustle around town sometimes, and I even notice people that I knew before then, they don't seem to think the same way. It's almost like they forgot how to critically think. I really believe, and you kind of see what I'm getting at, I think that they've really changed, if you know what I mean, that whole event was really bad. So I just want you to know that I truly love all you tuning in. I want the best for you. I want you fully prepped and I want you amped. Now's the time to go all in. Now's the time to drive that nail into the coffin, so to speak. We're closing the doors on islandproject.com. We've only left a 3 to 5% allocation for remaining members, and our minimum now is 150 units. We were forced to raise the minimum. If any of you were at the 30K and you filled out an app within the last 2 weeks and you've already spoken with my father, talk to him about that, because I have a feeling Papa John, we're the good guys. He'll probably still honor that. But any new boards, new boards, 150 units to get in. Also, we just closed on our Puna Beach penthouse. That was a $5.5 million acquisition, again, with no bank debt. That's right on the beach on Mauna Kea, attached to 2 major resorts. All the amenities of the pools, the gyms, world-class golfing. There's a hiking trail right in front of you. You can hear the ocean waves. I think that's worth, honestly, $5 million in addition to the 2 beds plus 3 baths plus a den. Probably my favorite property. That was property 5. So we now have 6 properties. This no bank debt. The 7th property is coming in Thailand, Booyah, which I'm really excited about. And you can see, number one, I'm pointing out, now's the time to scale. So a lot of you know in the real estate business too, most people have debt. We don't have any. We don't have any bank debt. And I designed it that way because God told my father and I to not have any bank debt. And we also believe that the banks are going to blow up. Like Warren Buffett is now saying the dollar is going down, so you need to buy other currencies. So we don't trust any of that bank debt. And I remember, I'm old enough, I'm 43, soon to be 44. I'm old enough to remember people that lost everything in 2008-09. So I know, it's like the 3 piggies I always joke. Always build on a foundation of rock. I could press a button right now and finance 100 more properties on on what we currently own. I hope you realize that. But we've chosen not to do that. Our big liquidity event, let me explain that, will be our token launch, which is a separate event from the real estate investment that our members currently own. Our real estate investment, see our terms and disclaimers, is going to be worth already hundreds of millions of dollars just naturally through price appreciation, income, and cash flow growth over a long period of time, not to mention use, which our members get to enjoy based on their tiers. And our 30 unit members get to as well, 40% off the rack rate, any additional stays. But in addition to that, a separate event, which is the IPO, is the token launch, which only my founders will ever get into. So I'm explaining to you what Donald Trump is doing, but more importantly, what's really happening at a high level. Like, it's bigger than Trump. This is the dollar reset. This is the crypto pump. This is your last chance, honestly, to onboard all of this, all of these amazing things that are about to happen. And a lot of people are going to miss it, just like they missed Bitcoin, as I've been hammering away for decades now to get in. So I love you very much. I want to hear what you think. Comment question in the box below. Donald Trump has now said he's going to lower the tariffs on China. He's memeing everybody and, kind of in a comical way, having a good time. I mean, he's a jokester, obviously, with the Pope and, lightsabers and all this kind of stuff. But he's also telling everybody, go all in crypto. The golden age is going to be unlocked imminently. Donald Trump is going to pull this off. So will Elon Musk. People are going to get very, very rich. You understand what I'm telling you? I want it to be you. The easiest way to plug in is by clicking the link below at 808-442-2934, islandproject.com, coming in with a minimum of 150 units. You can roll over your 401k IRAs. It takes 2 minutes or less to fill out an app, and you can fund directly now. Get in, take advantage of it, enjoy our beautiful properties, scale up, man up, woman up, and 1,000 freaking X, and honestly do it not for the money. We've already made a lot of money. We're going to make more money. Okay, but that's besides the point. Do it for the kingdom. The whole goal here is to build spiritual warriors like you tuning in, Christian billionaire ballers that are going to change the world and be an example and lead by example, never comply, and do big things. You're the tidal wave of that 1,000X movement. And, I love entertaining you, and I throw chairs in the pool and all that, but I wanted to do a very down-to-earth, sincere message today, too, so you just understand what I really think is going to happen. And I'm praying for you all. I want all you in the project that deserve to be there, that see what I see, that know what I know, that want a better life, that want a solution to the problems in our world, that don't want to back down and comply. I've never backed down. I will never back down. We've never complied. We've got great men. My father, a wonderful mentor, Christian man. I mean, how lucky I am to have Papa John at 70 years old, still fighting the battle with me. He doesn't have to do that. He's doing it because it's about building your family and your friends and our members up. The same reason I'm fighting so hard for my children, baby Faith, Austin, all my other kids, is because that, to me, especially as you get later on in life, that brings meaning and joy into all of our hearts. I want that for all of you. You can live a better life, but you've got to take action. You've got to go for it, and you've got to join like minds, and you've got to find solutions. The Digital Noah's Ark is the #1 solution in the world. I love you. Links below. See you there. Talk to my dad if you have any questions. Come on in. The doors are closing. I'm not going to do that. God is. 33.5 million, no bank debt. We're already on property number 7. The 13 colonies are coming and hundreds of properties worldwide. The vision that God showed me is really coming true, man, and it's humbling. And I can't even believe it. My father's even told me and pulled me aside. He's like, Christopher, this is bigger than you thought. Wow. Wow. What an honor. So I just want you to know you've got my full commitment, as you always do, and we're kicking butt, man. Like, you've seen nothing yet. Literally, this is just the beginning of something so epic. I just feel privileged to even be part of it. So thank you, I love you. Make sure you got my newsletter if you're one of my members. Reach out to us if you didn't, I'll forward it to you. God bless. Links below.